How to Study for 12 Hours Without Burning Out. I know, that title sounds kind of crazy, right? Maybe even a little unhealthy. But the secret isn't about having some kind of superhuman willpower. Nope. It's about completely flipping the script on how we think about work.
Let's be honest, when you hear 12-hour study session, what's your first reaction? For most of us, it's probably a feeling of dread. You immediately picture the exhaustion, the endless cups of coffee, and that feeling of hitting a wall, where you're just staring at a page and nothing is sinking in. That whole marathon approach, yeah, that's pretty much the definition of burnout.
So, first things first, we've got to tackle this myth head on. Let's talk about the grind. This whole idea that success means you have to be pushing and struggling and working yourself to the bone 24/7. I mean, you see it everywhere, don't you? This whole hustle culture thing that treats being exhausted like it's some kind of badge of honor. The message we get is that more hours equals better results. If you're not totally wiped out, you must not be working hard enough. Sound familiar?
But here's the thing the hustle gurus don't tell you. That is just not how our brains are wired. Your brain is a muscle, seriously, and just like any other muscle, it gets tired. The part of your brain that handles focus and decision-making literally runs on fuel, on glucose, and that fuel is finite. If you push it too hard for too long, you're just going to get worse and worse results.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got the grind. What does that lead to? Fatigue, sloppy work, and, you guessed it, total burnout. But on the right, you've got smart work, and that leads to sustained focus, high-quality results, and you can actually keep it up long-term. See, the goal isn't to work more, it's to make the hours you do work count.
Okay, so if grinding is the enemy, what's the solution? Well, the secret to actually being able to work for a long time is kind of the opposite of what you'd think. It's not about how to work harder, it's about how to rest smarter.
So many of us think that focus is just about gritting our teeth and powering through that mental fog. But trying to force a tired brain to concentrate, that's like trying to drive your car when the gas light has been on for miles. You're not going to get very far, and you might just end up doing some damage. And that brings us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? If it's not about putting in more hours or just having more willpower, what is the key? How do you actually unlock that consistent, top-level focus for the long haul? And here it is. The answer is smart breaks. And I love the words used here. These are planned and they're strategic. A smart break isn't just zoning out on your phone. See, when you take a proper break, you activate a part of your brain that processes information in the background, connects ideas, and sparks those aha moments. So a break isn't wasted time. It's literally when your brain is doing some of its best work.
Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually do it? Like, what does this look like in the real world? Well, there's a really simple, really powerful framework for this, and it's called the Pomodoro Technique.
Now, this technique is brilliant because it's about managing your energy, not just your time. It gives you this kind of psychological safety net. When you know a break is just around the corner, it's so much easier to dive into a task with 100% focus. You know it's just a short sprint, not some endless, horrible marathon. And it's so simple. Here's how it works. Step 1, pick a single task. Just one. Step 2, set a timer for 25 minutes and work on that task with zero distractions. No phone, no email, nothing. Step 3, when the timer dings, you take a short 5-minute break. And this is key. You have to actually stop. Get up, stretch, look out a window. Don't just switch to checking your email. Then after you do that 4 times, you take a longer break, maybe 15 to 30 minutes. That's it. That's the engine that drives the whole thing. And the best part? Look at how simple this is. All you need is a timer and a to-do list. That's it. You don't need some fancy app or complicated system. The reason it's so powerful is that there's almost no friction to getting started, and that's why people actually stick with it.
So let's bring this all together. What's the big takeaway here? It's all about making that mental switch, moving from that grind mentality to a smart break strategy. When you do that, you unlock a whole new level of focus and efficiency. It really is like giving yourself a new study superpower.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Sustainable success comes from working smarter, not just harder. The goal isn't to win a prize for being the most exhausted person in the room. The real goal is to do your best work consistently without burning yourself out. And that comes from working with your brain, not against it.
So really, we have to change our whole relationship with taking a break. We need to stop seeing rest as a guilty pleasure or a sign that we're procrastinating. We need to start seeing breaks for what they truly are, an absolutely essential, non-negotiable part of the work process. The break is just as important as the focus session. Period.
So, I want to leave you with this final thought. What would change for you if you started treating your breaks with the same intention as your work? What if, instead of being an escape, your breaks became your single most powerful and strategic tool for reaching your goals? Just think about that.